I sat at the edge of the couch, staring at the floor, when Lena finally said the words. "Ethan, I can't do this anymore." Her voice was calm, almost too calm, like she had rehearsed it. I looked up at her slowly, my chest tight. "Do what?" I asked, even though I already knew. I had felt it for weeks, the distance, the silence, the sighs she tried to hide. "This marriage," she said. "I feel trapped. I need freedom. I need to live. I can't keep pretending I'm happy with this life." I swallowed hard. "Pretending?" My voice cracked. "Was all of it pretending to you?" She looked away. "It's not that. You're good, Ethan, you're steady, but I want more. I want excitement. I want to feel alive again." I stared at her hands. The ring I bought for her years ago glowed under the light. "And I don't make you feel alive," I whispered. She hesitated. That silence said everything. I stood up trying to breathe. "Is there someone else?" Lena didn't answer. She didn't need to. My heart already knew. I walked past her into the bedroom. I picked up her phone from the dresser. She didn't stop me. I scrolled. Damien. The name hit like a hammer. I opened the messages. I didn't want to read them. I read them anyway. "Can't wait to see you tonight. Wish I could wake up next to you every morning. You deserve better than him." I dropped the phone. "Ethan," Lena whispered, "it's not what you think." "Then tell me what it is," I said, trying to keep my voice steady. She sat down, her hands shaking now. "He makes me feel seen. He makes me feel wanted. He makes me feel alive." "And I don't," I said again, though this time it came out flat, exhausted. She didn't answer. I felt something inside me break. It wasn't loud. It wasn't dramatic. It was quiet, like a small thread snapping. "Say it," I said. "Say you want to leave me." She looked right at me, and for the first time, there was no hesitation. "I want a divorce." The room felt so small I could barely stand. I nodded once because I didn't have the strength to do anything else. "Okay," I whispered. Lena reached for me, maybe out of guilt or habit. I stepped back. "Don't," I said. "You made your choice." The next hours felt like moving underwater. I opened the closet, grabbed a bag, and started packing clothes. My hands shook so hard I could barely fold anything. Lena stood in the doorway, silent. "Where will you go?" she asked. "I don't know," I said. "But I'll figure it out." When I opened the door to leave, she said my name again. I didn't turn around. If I saw her face, I knew I would break completely. The cold air outside felt harsh. I walked without thinking. I just walked. My phone buzzed. My brother Mark called twice. I didn't answer. I couldn't talk to anyone. I found a small room for rent in a quiet street. Mrs. Collins, the landlord, was an elderly woman with warm eyes. She looked at me and seemed to understand something was wrong without me saying anything. "You look tired, dear," she said gently. "The room is small but comfortable. You can stay as long as you need." I nodded and thanked her. I didn't trust my voice. That first night, I lay on the small bed, staring at the ceiling. The room smelled like lavender and dust. I replayed Lena's words again and again. I feel trapped. I want freedom. He makes me feel alive. I pressed my hand against my chest, trying to hold myself together. Maybe I wasn't enough. Maybe I was never enough. The hours crawled. At some point, I heard myself whisper, "Why wasn't I enough?" There was no answer, just the quiet hum of the old heater. I thought of the nights Lena and I used to laugh in bed, holding each other. How did something so warm turn so cold? Morning came with pale light slipping through the curtains. I didn't feel alive. I just existed, tonight. I threw myself into work because it was easier than thinking. I started taking double shifts at the warehouse. Nobody questioned it. Mark showed up one evening while I was eating a sandwich in the break room. "You look like hell," he said. "I'm fine," I muttered. "You're not." He sat across from me. "Mom's worried. Come to dinner tonight." "No." I didn't look up. "I don't want to sit at a table where everyone's pretending I'm okay." "No one wants you to pretend," he said. "We just want you home." "I can't," I whispered. Mark sighed. "You can't heal alone forever." "I'm not healing," I said. "I'm surviving." "That's enough right now." He didn't argue after that. He just squeezed my shoulder and left. The next morning, I met her. Mia. She was standing by the time clock, holding a box of paperwork. New hire, she smiled at me. Hey, I'm Mia. They said you could show me around? Sure, I said. My voice sounded tired, even to me. We walked the floor. She asked questions. I answered with short words. I could feel her watching me. You don't talk much, do you? She said finally. Not really. That's okay. Silence is comfortable sometimes. I didn't know how to respond, so I didn't. During break, she sat next to me. You look like someone who has a lot on their mind. She said it gently, not digging. Everyone does. Sure, she said. But not everyone looks like their thoughts are crushing them. I looked at her then. Her eyes weren't searching or pitying, just open. I don't want to talk about it, I said. She nodded. Then we don't talk. We just sit. And she did, quiet, calm, no pressure. It was the first silence in weeks that didn't hurt, but when I got home that night, the loneliness flooded back. The room felt too empty, too cold. I lay on the bed and scrolled through my phone like an idiot. There she was, Lena, laughing on a beach. Damien's arm around her, champagne, beautiful restaurants. Bright lights. The caption read, learning to love myself again. Comments, you're glowing. Proud of you. You deserve the world. I stared at the pictures until my vision blurred. My phone buzzed. Mark again. Don't, I whispered, letting it ring. The next day at work, Mia walked beside me while we stacked inventory. Ever notice how people move like machines in here? She asked. Yeah, she glanced at me. Do you? I think I stopped moving a while ago, I said before I could stop myself. Her expression softened. If you ever want someone to listen, I don't, I said quickly. Okay, she replied, not offended. But I'll be around anyway. At lunch, she tried again, carefully. So what, were you married? The air froze inside my chest. Yes, I said. Just one word, she waited. She left, I finally added. Found someone else. Mia's voice was quiet. I'm sorry, I shrugged. Maybe she made the right choice. Do you believe that? She asked. I stared at the table. I don't know. She seems happy. Pictures don't prove happiness, she said. I almost laughed, but it came out as a breath. She said she needed freedom. Maybe freedom really was what she wanted. Mia shook her head. Freedom shouldn't require breaking someone. I didn't answer. I didn't know how. After work, I walked home slowly. Mrs. Collins was watering her plants outside. She looked up. Long day? She asked. All days are long lately, she nodded gently. Grief stretches time. I stood there, unsure why tears burned behind my eyes. How long does it last? Until something new grows, she said. But the soil needs rest first. Don't rush the planting. I didn't know why, but her words stayed with me all night. Days turned into weeks. I kept working. I kept breathing. I kept scrolling through Lena's smiling pictures, even though every one of them cut like glass. One afternoon, Mia found me sitting alone behind the building. Mind if I sit? She asked. I didn't respond, but she sat anyway. You don't have to talk, she said. Just don't disappear. Something in my chest cracked, not like the break from before, but like a small door opening to air. I don't know how to be okay, I said. You don't have to, she replied. Just don't do it alone. For the first time in a long time, I nodded, and that was enough to keep me breathing. Months passed, though at first I barely noticed. I woke up, went to work, came home, and tried not to think. But one afternoon at the community center workshop, Chris leaned over and said, Hey, you ever work with wood? I blinked. I took shop in high school. He pointed to an old chair someone had tossed near the donation bin. Because that thing is begging for a second chance. Looks like how I felt after my divorce. I laughed, actually laughed. That bad, huh? Worse, he said. But someone figured I was worth fixing. He handed me a sanding block. Give it a try. I ran my hand across the worn wood. Something about it felt familiar, broken, but not ruined. So I sanded, and sanded, and sanded until my arms ached and the surface felt smooth beneath my fingertips. Mark stopped by later, wiping sweat from his forehead. You working on a project? I guess, I said. He studied the chair. Looks good. You've got patience. I've had to, I replied without thinking. He just nodded. No pity, no lecture. Just understanding. So I started bringing home old tables, shelves, chairs, anything abandoned, anything people thought was done. I found them at thrift stores, yard sales, sometimes on the curb. I cleaned them, fixed their cracks, stained their surfaces, made them useful again. At first, it was just something to keep my hands busy. But slowly, it became something else. A kind of quiet therapy. One evening, Mrs. Collins stepped into the workshop while I was polishing a small oak desk. She watched me work for a minute before speaking. "You've come a long way," she said gently. I set the cloth down. Some days it still hurts. "Pain doesn't mean you failed," she said softly. "It means you cared. It means you were alive in that moment. Healing isn't about erasing pain. It's learning to live without letting it drown you." I swallowed. "I'm trying." "And you're doing well," she said, placing a hand over mine. Truly, I didn't answer, but I kept polishing. The wood gleamed. Days turned into weeks. The small side business grew slowly. A neighbor bought a restored coffee table. A teacher purchased the oak desk. I made enough to feel helpful, capable, present. Then one night, while I was tightening the leg of a chair, my phone buzzed. I didn't recognize the number at first, but the moment I heard the voice, my breath caught. "Hey, Lena." I stood still. "Hi." She sounded tired, like exhaustion lived behind her words. I just wanted to check on you." I didn't know how to respond. "I'm okay," I said finally. "That's good. Damien's busy lately. Business trips. A lot of them." Her voice wavered. "So I've had time to think." I waited. "I miss talking to you," she whispered. The room felt colder. "I appreciate the call," I said carefully. "But I'm all right. I'm just living, working," she exhaled shakily. "Yeah, I just wanted to say that." "Thank you," I replied. "Take care of yourself, Lena." There was a pause. "Okay, you too." The call ended. I sat down on the floor back against the wall. But my heart didn't race. My hands didn't shake. I didn't feel lost or shattered, just steady. Like the ground beneath me had finally stopped moving. A few days later, Mark stopped by while I was oiling a table. "Look at you," he said. "You've got a whole operation going." "It's something to do," I said. "It's more than that." "You look better," I shrugged. "Some days." "That's how better works," he said. "One day at a time." He glanced at the finished pieces lined up. "She'd be surprised," I shook my head. "She doesn't get to see this part." "Good," he said. "This part is yours." I exhaled slowly, feeling the truth settle quietly inside me. The workshop lights hummed softly above me. I was sanding the edge of a maple table when the workshop door opened. I didn't look up at first. I just said, "We're closed for the day." A woman's voice answered, calm and cool. "I'm not here to shop," I looked up. She stood tall, neat black coat, hair pinned back. Her eyes were sharp, almost familiar. "I'm Janet," she said. "Damien's sister." My hand froze on the wood. "Why are you here?" She stepped closer, not afraid of the silence around us. "I came to tell you something. It's not a warning. It's not an apology. Just the truth." I set the sandpaper down. "Go on," she folded her arms. "He's cheating on her." The words hung in the air like dust. I blinked. "Already?" "Yes," she said. "With someone else now." "A model or an influencer." "I forget which." He moved on the way he always does. "Like people are seasons." I leaned back against the workbench. "And she knows?" "She suspects." "But she's pretending not to." Janet's voice didn't change. No pity, no drama, just fact. "She doesn't want the world to see her fall apart after she made such a loud exit from your life." I nodded slowly. "She chose that exit." "She did," Janet agreed. "But I'm not here to defend her. I'm here because you deserve to know that you weren't the problem." The statement hit harder than the news itself. I exhaled. "I don't feel good hearing this." "You shouldn't," she said. "Normal people don't celebrate someone else's heartbreak." I stared at the table. "I don't feel joy. I just feel empty." Janet studied me for a moment. "That emptiness will fade. You're rebuilding." "I can see that." I didn't answer. She turned toward the door. "She'll break soon. And when she does, she might come to you." "Be careful when she does," I swallowed. "Why tell me all this?" She hesitated only slightly. "Because I liked who Lena was before him. And I think she threw away the only person who ever loved her honestly." Then she left. The workshop felt colder after she was gone. Later that evening, I texted Mia. I didn't plan the words. I just typed, "Coffee?" She replied within a minute. "Sure." We met at a small cafe on the corner. She was already there, hands wrapped around a warm mug. When she saw me, she smiled softly. "Rough day?" "You could say that," I said, sitting down. She didn't ask anything right away. She just waited. I stared at the table before speaking. "Someone visited me today." "Damien's sister. She told me he's cheating on Lena." Mia's eyebrows lifted slightly. "How do you feel about that?" I shook my head. "I don't know." Part of me thought I'd feel satisfied. Like karma or something. But I don't, I just feel tired. And sad, not for us, just for what everything became. Mia nodded slowly. "You loved her. Even if she hurt you, that love doesn't switch off." "I don't love her now," I said. "But I miss who she used to be. The person I thought she was." "That makes sense," Mia said. "We grieve the memory, not the person who exists now." I looked up at her. "Do you think she regrets it?" "Maybe," she said. "But regret doesn't undo the choices that broke you." I let out a shaky breath. When Janet said it, I didn't feel relief, just emptiness. Like there's nothing left to react with. "That emptiness is healing," Mia said. "It means the wound is closing." I stared at her hands around the mug. "How do you know what to say?" She gave a small laugh. "I've had my own wounds." We sat in silence for a moment, but it was warm silence. "Not the kind that hurt," I whispered. "I'm trying, you know. To live, to move forward." "I know," she said. "And you're doing it." I met her eyes. There was something peaceful there. Something steady. For the first time in a long time, I felt like breathing didn't take effort. We stayed until the cafe lights dimmed, talking softly. About nothing heavy. Just small things. Gentle things. When we walked outside, the night air was cool. Mia looked up at the sky. "The world's still turning," she said. "Yeah," I replied. "And so am I." We walked together, not holding on to anything. Just moving forward. In that quiet, something new began, soft, unspoken, and real enough to stay. Today. I heard the knock before I saw her. It was soft, hesitant, the way someone knocks when they aren't sure they'll be welcomed. I wiped my hands on a rag and walked to the door, expecting a customer, but when I opened it, I stopped breathing. "Hey," Lena said. She looked smaller. Her hair was uneven, tied back like she hadn't tried. Her eyes were swollen, red streaks around them. She tried to smile. "Long time." I stepped aside but didn't invite her in. "What do you want?" She walked in anyway, slow, like each step weighed something. "I was in the area," she said. "Thought I'd see how you were doing." I crossed my arms. "You can just say what you came to say." She let out a shaky breath. Damien left. The words fell flat between us. I didn't react. I didn't know how to. She laughed, not happy, not bitter, just empty. "For someone richer, or prettier, or just newer." "I don't know." I leaned back against the workbench. "I see. I thought I'd be okay," she said. "Freedom, remember?" She forced a smile. "I always said I didn't want to be tied down. I wanted to live, to feel alive." She looked around the workshop like she was searching for something she lost. "I regret everything," she whispered. I said nothing. She stepped closer. "I ruined the best thing I ever had, and I knew it even while I was doing it. But I kept pretending I was right. I kept telling myself you'd understand someday." Her voice cracked. "But you moved on," I swallowed. "I didn't move on. I had to rebuild," she nodded quickly, tears rising. I know. I hurt you. I betrayed you. I thought I wanted excitement. I thought I wanted someone who made me feel special. Damien made everything feel like a movie, like I was the star." Her breath shook. "But I was just the prop." I could feel the ache in my chest, but I didn't step closer. She looked at me, eyes desperate. "Can we talk? Really talk? Maybe try again? I want to come home." I shook my head slowly. "I'm not the man you left." She stared at me like the world was coming apart. "But I still love you." I closed my eyes. "You love the version of me who would have forgiven anything just to keep you." She broke then, really broke. She covered her face and sobbed, shoulders shaking, knees bending slightly like her body couldn't hold the weight. I know, she cried. "I know I don't deserve anything." But I didn't know how to come back. I didn't know how to face what I did. I was scared you'd hate me. "I don't hate you," I said quietly. I just don't belong to you anymore. She looked up at me, tears running. Please, don't say that. Please, just tell me there's still something. Anything. I felt the pain rise, hot but steady. I cared for you more than anything. And I lost myself in that. I had to learn how to live without you. I can't go back to that version of me. She was shaking now. So that's it? I lose everything? You lost it when you walked away. The door opened behind us. Mia stepped inside, holding 2 cups of coffee. She saw Lena, then looked at me. Oh, she said softly. Lena looked at Mia like she was a ghost she'd never expected to see. Her expression twisted. Shock, heartbreak, realization all at once. You're with her, she whispered. I didn't answer. I didn't need to. Mia stepped beside me, not touching, not claiming, just there. Lena's voice became a whisper. I thought I'd have time. I thought you'd still be waiting, I met her eyes. I waited a long time. She covered her mouth, tears spilling again. I'm sorry, she choked. I'm so sorry, I nodded once. I know. She looked around the workshop one last time, like she was looking at a life she killed with her own hands. Then she left. Her footsteps faded. Mia exhaled slowly. You okay? I didn't trust my voice, so I nodded. She set the coffee down beside me and stood close, not asking, not pushing, just present. I breathed out slowly, realizing I could choose my own life now. I sat at my workbench, staring at the half-sanded table in front of me. My hands moved, but my mind was somewhere else. The door creaked and Mark stepped in. He looked at me carefully. You're thinking about her again, he said. I sighed. I don't want to, but yes. Mark leaned against the wall. She keeps showing up. Anyone would be shaken. She looks so lost, I whispered. I remember when I used to take care of her. And what did she do with that care? He asked softly. I closed my eyes. She threw it away. Mark walked closer. You can't heal by reopening the wound that cut you. I swallowed. I know, he put a hand on my shoulder. Mia cares about you. Not because she wants something. Because she actually sees you. I didn't respond. My chest felt tight. Later that evening, Mia came by the workshop. She didn't come inside. She just stood by the door. Can we talk? She asked gently. I nodded. We walked to the small bench outside. She sat with her hands folded. I know she's been coming around. Yes. I'm not here to compete with her. I know. I care about you. And I don't want to be the reason you're confused. I looked down at my hands. You're not the reason. The past is. Mia nodded slowly. I can give you space, if that's what you need. Her voice trembled even though she tried to hide it. I don't want to lose you, I admitted. You won't, she said. But you have to choose what will help you heal, not what feels familiar. I exhaled shakily. Thank you. The next morning, Lena came again. She knocked softly as if afraid the door itself would reject her. Can we talk? She asked. I stepped aside, letting her in. She looked worse than before. Pale, tired, broken. I know I keep coming here, she said. I can't stop thinking about us. I leaned against the workbench. Lena, I loved you, she said. I thought freedom would make me feel alive. But I just feel empty. I stayed silent. She wiped her eyes. Damien wasn't what I thought. He made me feel small, used, replaceable. I am sorry that happened, I said gently. She looked at me, desperate. We were happy once, weren't we? We were, I admitted. But that version of us is gone. I can be better, she whispered. If you'll give me another chance, my heart ached. Memories moved through me like slow waves. Our laughter, our fights, our promises, our ending. I don't hate you, I said, but I can't go back. I'm not the man I was, and you're not the woman I loved. She shook her head, tears falling. So that's it? I think so. She reached for my hand, but I stepped back. Her face crumpled as she realized what that meant. Lena left without another word. I stood in the quiet workshop, breathing slowly. The silence didn't feel heavy anymore. It felt real, honest. That evening, I called Mia. Can we meet? I asked. She sounded surprised but warm. Yes, where? We met at the little cafe near the river. She sat with her tea waiting. I sat down across from her. I made my choice, I said. She looked at me carefully. And? I want to move forward, I said. With you. If you'll have me. Her eyes softened. I will. But only if you're sure. I am, I said. For the first time, I am sure. She reached across the table, taking my hand. Her touch felt steady, present, safe. After we left the cafe, we walked by the river. I listened to the sound of the flowing current. Mia asked quietly, "Do you regret loving her?" I thought for a long moment. No, I regret losing myself for her. But love itself wasn't the mistake, she nodded. Then maybe this time you can love without breaking yourself. I want to try, I said. We stopped at the railing. I felt something I thought I had lost forever. A small, quiet hope. Mia leaned her head gently against my shoulder. I didn't tense. I didn't pull away. I let myself feel it. Not forced. Not rushed. Just real. For the first time in a long time, I felt like I was choosing myself softly. I chose a quiet cafe far from the center of town. I wanted a place where no one would stare, no one would whisper, no one would judge either of us. When I walked in, Lena was already sitting at a corner table. Her hands were wrapped around a cup of coffee, but she wasn't drinking it. She looked up when I approached. "Thank you for coming," she said. I sat across from her, keeping my expression steady. "You asked." I listened. Her eyes were tired, swollen. "I know I don't deserve your time, but I needed to speak to you." "Really speak," I nodded once. "Then say what you came to say," she breathed in shakily. "I thought I wanted freedom. I thought I wanted excitement, adventure, parties, everything I felt like I was missing." Her voice trembled, but I didn't understand what I already had. I didn't respond. I let her talk. "You gave me peace," she whispered. "A home, safety, love I didn't appreciate because I thought it was ordinary." She finally looked at me, really looked. "I traded real happiness for something shallow," I swallowed. "Lena, no, let me finish." Her voice broke. Damien wasn't love. He was attention. He was temporary. I see that now. I kept my voice even. And now? She blinked rapidly, tears gathering. "Now I'm alone. And I keep remembering us. The mornings you made me tea. The evenings we watched movies with the lights off. The way you listened to me even when I didn't deserve it." She wiped her eyes with her sleeve. "I miss that. I miss you. I miss us." I exhaled through my nose, slow and steady. "What do you want from me?" She leaned forward. "Another chance, please." Her voice cracked. "I know I hurt you. I know I destroyed everything good you gave me, but I can fix it. I can be better, just don't close the door yet." I stared at the table for a long moment. The wood grain blurred like waves. My chest felt heavy, but not in the same way it used to. Not broken, just filled with memory. "I didn't lose you because you wanted freedom," I said softly. She lifted her eyes to mine, hopeful and terrified all at once. "You lost me because you believed I was something you could replace." The words fell between us like something final. Lena's face crumpled. Tears spilled openly now. People at nearby tables turned to look, but she didn't care. "I was wrong," she whispered. "So wrong, I know," I said. "And I'm sorry for the pain you're in." "I truly am." Her hand reached across the table. I didn't take it. She broke into quiet sobs, shoulders shaking. After a moment, she forced herself to speak through them. "Is there really no chance?" I took a slow breath. "I cared for you deeply. I don't deny that. But the man you left doesn't exist anymore. And the woman I loved, she's gone too." She covered her mouth to muffle the sound of her crying. I stood. "Take care of yourself, Lena," I said softly. She lifted her head, eyes begging. "Please don't go." My throat tightened. "Goodbye, Lena." I turned and walked toward the door. The sound of her crying followed me, but I didn't look back. Outside, the air was cold, but it felt clean. I put my hands in my pockets and started down the street. My heart ached, but it did not shatter. It stayed whole. Heavy, yes, but whole. For a while, I walked without direction, just letting the city move around me. Cars, voices, footsteps, all distant. I eventually sat on a bench near the river. The water moved slowly, steady and calm. My phone buzzed. It was Mia. "Are you all right?" she asked when I answered. I hesitated. I saw her. She didn't speak right away. "How do you feel?" "Tired," I said, "but certain." "That's enough," she replied. Are you still there? I asked quietly. I'm here, she said. I didn't leave. I closed my eyes. Thank you, I whispered. You don't owe me thanks, Mia said. Just keep choosing what makes you whole. I nodded to myself, even though she couldn't see it. I'm trying, I said. And that's all you need, she answered. Mia met me outside the workshop one morning. The sun was gentle, the air cool. She looked at me carefully as if searching my eyes for an answer before asking it out loud. So, she said softly, how are you really? I leaned against the doorway. I'm learning, I replied. Slowly, she smiled a little. I can take slow, I nodded. I don't want to rush anything. I don't want you to feel like you're filling someone else's space. I never wanted to be a replacement, she said. I just wanted to be here. And you were, I said. Even when I didn't know how to let you. Mia stepped closer. Then let's start where we are. Not where we were, I breathed in, steady. Okay, where we are. She reached out, not to grab, not to pull, but simply to touch my hand. I didn't flinch. I didn't freeze. I just let myself feel the warmth. In the weeks that followed, my workshop slowly grew busier. Word spread. People liked the way I restored old furniture instead of replacing it. Mark stopped by often, sometimes with tools, sometimes just to talk. You're doing good, man, he said one afternoon, watching me measure a chair leg. I'm proud of you. I laughed a little. Feels strange to hear that. Get used to it, he said. You worked for this. Mrs. Collins shuffled into the workshop with a basket of muffins. He always worked hard, she said proudly. Even when life tried to drown him, I looked up. Mrs. Collins, don't you Mrs. Collins me? She said, waving a hand. Just take a muffin before I hit you with the basket. I couldn't help but smile. Yes, ma'am. She watched me for a moment. Her voice softened. You look lighter these days. I feel lighter, I admitted. Good, she said. Pain passes. You just needed time. One evening, Mia and I took a walk around the town square. The lights were warm, the streets quiet. She pointed out a little thrift shop window. That chair looks like one of yours, she teased. It probably is, I said. People keep selling them for double what I charge, she laughed. You're going to need a bigger workshop. Maybe, I said. I'll get there one day at a time. We stopped near the fountain. The water glowed under the streetlights. Mia looked at me. Do you think you're happy? I thought about it. I didn't rush the answer. I think I'm becoming happy, I said. Not because everything is perfect, but because I finally know how to breathe again. She nodded. That's enough for now. A few days later, I saw Lena. She was standing near the grocery store, adjusting a worn jacket around her shoulders. She caught sight of me before I could look away. Her expression shifted, surprise, then a soft, aching sadness. She didn't approach. She didn't wave, she just watched. I walked past slowly, not cold, not angry, just living. Her voice called out quietly, almost lost to the wind. I'm glad you're doing better. I turned just enough to meet her eyes. I hope you find peace, too. Her eyes shined with something heavy, but she nodded. Just once. I walked on. My chest didn't hurt. It felt, but it didn't hurt. Later that night, I sat on the steps outside the workshop. Mia sat beside me, leaning shoulder to shoulder. You saw her today, she said. Yes. How did it feel? I looked at the sky, like closing a door gently instead of slamming it. Mia didn't say anything. She didn't need to, I continued. I don't hate her. I don't want her to suffer. I don't want revenge. That's growth, she said quietly. I just want to live my life, I said. The one I'm building. The one that's mine. Mia rested her head against my arm. Then live it. I'm here, I smiled, small but real. I know. The night was quiet. Not empty. Peaceful. Not perfect. But mine. I took a slow breath and let it out. In my mind, I thought, sometimes the hardest revenge is healing, and the greatest freedom is learning to let go.